Hello and good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Michael's Backyard. Michael in the Backyard. I would like to say I have an exciting video for you today, but we'll see how you guys enjoy it. Well, as you know, in my last video or video prior, the shop is closing in on me. And eventually I'd love to build a bigger shop to move some of my bigger projects out there, but not enclose it, make it more of a carport, more of a summertime shop. But that might be a year or two away from now. So with that being said, do you guys is your lens clean? Clean enough. I do all my work out here in this shop. It's climate controlled. I wouldn't say obviously, but it is climate controlled. This morning, we got a beautiful morning out this morning. Oh my goodness. What kind of cat are you? I haven't seen you before. It's weather at 59 degrees this morning. High of 79. So it might get warmer by this afternoon. So I want to get my door open work done early. Well, let's just take a peek around real quick. So as you can see, there is stuff. My bandsaw is pulled out away from where it normally sits back there because I'm cutting some longer stuff up, and I'll be continuing to cut some stuff up on this project we're working on today. But yeah, as you can see, wall to wall congestion. Now, this is all 1/2-inch rebar cut into 4'9" sections for a special project that you guys will be involved in as well. I got to build gates for the dog compound, and I want to get that done. I'm also going to be building an internal gating system in my basement of my house where the dog door is and stuff, so we can, control. Currently, we still have 5 puppies left, and chances are we'll hang on to most of those 5. I think there is one going to find a new home. Found a couple, retired military lady, and they have a poodle already, and they're wanting an additional one because they lost one of their pups last year. And the one dog seems to be you can tell. If you own dogs, you know. And they're trying to find another friend for that dog. And our puppies make awesome friends. They're friendly with every dog. With that being said, my goal here today, I was looking around, I was sawing up all this rebar, and I had, not an epiphany, but I'm looking around at all the stuff I have setting my shelf. I need more shelf space. And my walls are sort of full. My only wall that's not so full, and I say not so full, is this one here. And I'm looking, there's all this dead space above my cabinets. And I'm like, okay, what can we do there? And I got thinking, spin you around here real slowly. You see, guys, I built this. This is a not your normal length beam, not your normal length cross-section beam for that distance for a pallet rack. And it's got just 2 uprights, nothing at the bottom. Now, would that be safe in a industrial environment? No, absolutely not. Would never do that. There's no weight ratings on it or anything. I welded 2 pieces together to make a 15-foot beam. Now, they do make 16-foot beams. Don't get me wrong, but they're this thick to hold, say, 2,200-pound pallets, 4 of them. I'm just putting containers up there, and they're things I can lift. And if I can lift it and set it up there by hand overhead, then it can hold it. So I got to thinking, looking over here, that I could put an upright here so it's on the other side of my mini split. Now, keep in mind, I don't want to block the mini split and the comfort it provides, for sure. So I could sacrifice some shelf space, but I can make a beam because I got a workbench down low here. This is a method to my madness here. I've got a workbench that's had a motor sitting on it forever, but I don't want to block off my workbench space. And I know you can't hardly see it, but right there's where it ends by the window here. I was going to put it, ideally I'd come right here, but I can easily go on the other side of my mini split, put a leg, as it were, and then go clear down And right here to the right of this toolbox on the wall, put me another leg. So I did some measuring, and I needed at least a 7-foot tall upright, pallet upright. Well, I went and looked in my stash out in the lean-to out there, and I go, whoo-hoo. I saw these, and I'm like, no way those are long enough. Because I'm looking at them, and they just look short. They're 8 feet long. How lucky is that? So 5% of the work is done. I've already got 2 short beams. They're actually extra heavy duty. They're the 4-inch square uprights versus the 2x4. Those have more strength. I don't need that kind of strength, but it's fine. And let me show you some other stuff. I have pulled out of the shed all these damaged cross beams. As you can see, this one right, let's see if I can get my finger on the right one here. Right there, that's got a whoop whoop. But what do they have that I can use? Hopefully enough straight section to it be able to weld them together like I did the one in the back and make me one long beam. Now, I do have a pile of 8-footers, good 8-foot beams that I could easily cut, put 3 of them together to get my, because I'm going to have approximately 18 feet on this section. But I was looking around on my floor and I'm thinking, if I had a shelf like that, what can I do? What would it help? And I'm like, that could go up, that could go up, that could go up, I can open up my entire floor practically, because I've got things on the floor, because I've been collecting containers, putting stuff in containers, trying to keep it clean and neat, but have no place to go with it. This is going to allow me to go up, and then I can catalog it in my computer, number my numbering system, and go, this is here, this is here, this is here. And we can keep going forward. So that's the project for this morning. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about projects and where my brain goes when I can, like when you're hungry and you go to the buffet and you scoop up, your eyes are bigger than your stomach sometimes, and you bite off more than you can chew. That can happen with a lot of people with projects. And I've been known to do that. And it's not more than I can chew. It's not more than I can get done, but it's more than I can get done in the time frame allowed for myself. Now, when it comes to estimating jobs and how long it's going to take me to do a job, a weld job or a fabrication job or something like that, I can usually nail it really close. Even when I removed that pallet racking, it was a multi-week job with multiple hours and multiple people. And when I did my estimation, I honestly, after 4 weeks, I think it was, or so, of removing pallet racking and accounting for other people I hired to help me and paid them to help me, I was within a couple of hours on a multi-week job, which I thought was fantastic. On a job that long. Now, I'm off a couple hours on a 2-hour job. That's a big deal. A couple hours on a multi-week job, and it actually came in, I believe, a little bit under. I'm trying to remember. I remember being very satisfied with how that came out. But when it comes to my own personal projects, I'll think, I want to get let's use this one here for an example. I'm thinking, I can knock this out in a couple hours. No, I can't. I know I can't. Because then I start thinking about, I got to move some stuff around in my shop. The uprights I can set there, sure, but then I got to cut and fabricate and weld these beams together, get it up there. Then I got to put the wire mesh on top, which you just throw that up there, done. And then gathering and cataloging and organizing the way I want it. That's what takes a little more time. So yeah, will I be done by noon today? No. I'm not setting that goal for myself. My goal today at 7:17 a.m. Kind of track this job. Now it's 7:17 now. If I can be done by 2, throw a lunch in there. We're talking 5 to 6 hours job, because this job has jumped ahead of everything else I have on my docket. And I say that because I'm having trouble working in this space. Let's be honest. I've got to make more space for me to work in to keep moving forward my other projects more efficiently and not possibly trip and create injury upon myself because I constrain myself to not enough space to work in. So, all that being said, we're going to see what we can do, knock this out, because my wife, my boss, the boss, you guys see her in the video every now and then popping in, checking in on me, making sure I'm still kicking and not bleeding out somewhere. We've got the dog puppy situation right now that's kind of tough to handle. Now, we built this 4,000 square foot enclosure dog run, which they've enjoyed the living snot out of. But it's the transition from house to outside that we got to work with, because the big dogs currently can't get out because of the way we got those little dogs kenneled, and we have to manually let them out here and there. So we want to create an indoor pen, as it were, that's literally 5 feet tall, rebar. It's going to look like a jail, honestly, but I'm mimicking the same thing I did with my deck railing that I built using rebar and square tubing. And that's going to be a fabrication project you'll see on this channel as well, how I go about doing it and the results of it when it's done. And it's going to be, but I got to get this project done before I can start on that project. That was important to get done this weekend, because I want us to go into it's a holiday weekend this weekend. I want us to go into next week with a better solution than we have today and take stress off the boss of dealing with those dogs. Because I'm, working out here in my shop. Now, I call it work. What I do for you guys in videos and doing all my recording, editing, uploading, I enjoy that. At first, I thought it's not work, but it is work. But it's a different type of work. You got your 9-to-5 job you go to every day, and that's your work. That's something you do. I work to live. I don't live to work. So, and I enjoy my job, my work job very much, but it affords me to do the things I do for you guys, because let's be honest, right now, YouTube, at the level I'm at and the viewership I have, is not enough to pay for itself. So I heavily supplement my ability to buy and do and show you guys things and keep my life and projects moving. And I bring you guys along with my life and projects. It's just something I've done for years now. And we're going on 9 years I've been doing this and making recordings and trying to improve my editing process, try to improve my skills, try to improve my, I'm not a master editor. I record, I'm my own camera guy, I do all the editing, I do everything myself. So not always does it, when you guys see an hour-and-a-half video or an hour video or 45-minute video, there's chances are that's an 8, 9, 10 hour, it could easily be, let's just call it a 4-hour video that you see probably takes 8 hours to record on average, at least double. You can always kind of count on double, because camera, messing around with stuff, what you're seeing is the live action. You're not seeing the in-betweens, some of the setup stuff like that. But I'm rambling. But you guys are watching time-lapse right now, I'm pretty sure, because that's what I have designed in my head that you're going to be doing. But anyway, it takes time. And I'd love to put out 2 videos a week. I can't. I don't have enough of, let's call it disposable time to do that at this current time in my life. But I do like to do this stuff, and I like to share things, and I like to teach. I don't mind teaching. I like to show what I do or how I do things. I like to also explain the why I do things, because the why, when it comes to training, is some of the most important parts of the how. Because you might say, I nail this board here and here, and I nail this board. Well, why are you putting that board there? Well, is it structural? Is it to put something else together on? Is it for future expansion, or is it for the next part of the project, that supports the beginning, the middle, and the end? Okay, well, as you see here, he's been working his butt off trying to make space and get the area ready, prepped for this rack to go up. And he had to move a lot of stuff out of his way to give him some working room so he doesn't have to trip over things to get what he needs to get done. The other part about YouTube is that you have to make sure that your videos don't have background music in it and gets copyrighted and get copyright infringements and get strikes and all that kind of fun stuff. So, you know, sometimes you see time lapse is a great way for you guys to see things move along quicker. It's kind of fun to watch time lapse, but it's also time for that YouTuber, that person creating the content, to listen to music and change it up and not just hear, you know, the magical musical sounds of his own voice talking to a camera. Well, hopefully by this time in the video, he has now got the uprights in place, moved enough stuff around and got the uprights in place. All right, the big question. Did I meet my deadline? Sorta. Well, you know, when I said I'd have it done by 2 o'clock with a lunch break, I was really close, because at about 11:30, the boss and I decided to go try out this new restaurant in town nearby that recently opened, and it was it's a shame because it's a really nice looking place, brand new built. I mean, it just looks beautiful. And the menu is very small, which I have no problem with very small menus, because then you can focus on several good things and they should all be good. But will I go back? Probably not. Why? Because, you know, restaurants need to have good food. Priced, I don't mind paying up for food if it's you know, taste really good. But I don't like paying premium prices for mediocre food. When I went in there, my wife and I went in there, it was a walk up to the counter, order your food, go sit down, they bring it to your table with this little marker thing. They find you in the store somewhere, somehow, magical. And I walked around, and half the tables were not occupied, and none of them were bussed. We couldn't find a single table in the restaurant that hadn't been bussed. And other than going and sitting at a 6 or 8 person table, it's only 2 of us. So anyway, and then when I'm noticing that the table's not being bussed, I'm like, it dawned on me after we started eating our food. Now my sandwich tasted pretty good, and the fries were awesome, and the cinnamon roll was good enough. I mean, it was good. I'd order another one. I'd eat another one. But my wife's pork tenderloin, she said it tasted like boar meat. And she used to raise hogs, so she knows what boar meat tastes like. And so that was a little bit of a disappointment for sure. And then I said, you know what? When we walked in here, I noticed that all these different tables that weren't bussed were half full of half-eaten sandwiches. Nobody bothered to even take it with them as leftovers because they were big chunky sandwiches. And that kind of sends a message in my book. Now, the people that own the restaurant, I don't know if they recognize or pay attention to those details like that. I'm detail oriented to a certain degree, but when I see stuff like that, I'm like, let's start putting this puzzle together and come up with, wow, no. So $54 for lunch. And I had a shaved steak sandwich, I guess it's called, something like that. She had a pork tenderloin with fries, with cheese curds, with dessert. $54 plus tip. And I could go to Longhorn Steakhouse in Iowa, because everybody may not know this, but Iowa beef is hard to beat. And have the same, maybe pay $10 more, but I'll have a steak dinner with a perfectly cooked steak that tastes awesome, side of sauteed mushrooms, baked potato with butter, a salad, and a drink. And so can the boss. And maybe pay $10 more than we paid for this lunchtime extravaganza. Anyway, enough of that rant. So, I go there, I digressed. Reel me in, guys and gals. We decided to go and run to get some hardware too. So I went and got some of these hardwares for the next project because we were already halfway to the next city that I could get hardware at. And got those. So I got back here by 2. But all I had left to do when I left here, the back beam was back there, setting in place, but not quite hung and snapped in. So all I had to do when I got back was snap that beam in and then put my waterfall wire mesh decking on top, and here it is. Now, you guys might be asking, what's this? Well, this is a lot of weight right here, believe it or not. You can kind of make this thing bounce a little bit. This is my boat shrink material. It's a roll of it. It's wrapped in a moving blanket for a particular purpose, and that purpose is to keep it from getting holes poked in it. And when you handle it and stuff, because you got to protect it. Because when you got the little holes and you go to heat shrink it, and the holes go whoop, and you got to tape over them. So I protected that until I get it hung up. I got a roll at the back of the shop. That's a smaller roll. I bought a bigger roll for big boats here. And I have to get that hung up differently than it is today. I'm going to bring you in closer. I'm going to show you some things. Now, you guys are already going to be saying, Michael, you couldn't do that. You can't do that. It's not safe. It's not going to hold up. Don't do this, folks. I highly recommend you do not do this. I would implore you not to do what I do. Just watch and be entertained is all I'm asking. So you can see where I butt welded that beam together. Now this was a 9-footer here. Started off as a 9-footer. I cut the end off of it and I had to splice in a piece. It's going over here. Yep, there's another splice right there. It's welded all the way around. Now, You guys, if you're familiar with pallet racking, there is a small bead of weld right here. And there's only one bead of weld on the backside that's only about this high. That's all that holds this to this. That's it. Nothing else. Now, it is relying on shear strength. You know, when I say shear, it's shearing as it was to break straight down. That has a lot of strength in that weld, believe it or not. But what I did, and I'll be able to show you the backside here. Be patient. I'm going to get your camera shot back around here if I can. I've got a piece of 1.5 inch by 1/4 inch steel that I welded this way. Did not weld on the end because I didn't want to create a fracture point there. Not a big deal, typically not going to fracture, but it's welded all the way around. And I did that for every joint. There's one back here. And there's another one back here by the back of the toolbox right there. So this isn't gonna just snap in half. You have to understand, for this to actually break, these welds would physically have to tear metal in two. So that's not gonna go anywhere. Now, let's walk around the floor here and see. Now, I'm not done, but I'm not, whoa, kick the base. Now, I'm not done here, but I'm done enough for this video because you can see I already have the top shelf is full of all the stuff. Everything that's up there was on my floor. Now you look at my floor and you go, Michael, you don't have that much floor space. I do, I really do. Because just look at this bench right here. I haven't been able to walk straight up to this bench. And I'm ashamed to say it, but not really, I'm just gonna say it. 2 to 3 years since I've been able to go over here and walk to those cabinets right there. Now, how long has this outboard here been sitting here? Well, Badger Bob knows because the power head is still sitting there from when I brought it from his place. Badger Bob, if you wouldn't mind, if you're watching, drop a comment as to how long ago I got that power head, that good power head from you. That outboard's still gonna go back together. That's why it's set there. That's why I haven't toted it up and put it somewhere else. That's a future project. And I would call newer future than further future. Well, and then around the old Harley Davidson here, that's the floor underneath it was surrounded with stuff. I still got a spring to pick up back there. But now this right here, this rebar is for another project I'm working on next. As soon as I get the stuff off of it and get this workbench cleaned, that's the next project. And stay tuned for that one. That's coming up probably in the next week. But I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. I am not disappointed. I had to move my air here from over there. It was over there. I moved it over here, more in the middle of the floor anyway, where it's easily accessible. I got both my welders stacked double deep here for now. But and I still, yeah, this is ooh, look at this. Yowzer. Still got to clean that off. But I got one toolbox over here now. I still got my 2 big ones back here. But I also am going to, what's out on the floor taking up space right now is I got this bench that used to be back over here in the corner or back against the wall. Had the little mini fridge sitting on it. And my belt sander. Well, that's another project that's coming up soon enough because I haven't completely been, what's in this drawer? I haven't opened this drawer forever. Haha, I remember all this, golly. I was gonna make, these are all regulators. I was gonna make a forge. That's how long that's been there. I'm gonna take and remove this from this bench. I kind of built this belt sander myself. Buddy of mine did some CNC machining of some parts. I drew them up, he cut them for me. I assembled it. It's been a great belt sander. It's got a little strut here that puts tension on the belt. The wheels are all crowned so it tracks and all that kind of fun stuff. But I got my other toolbox stuffed over here right now. And that has a lot of my bicycle parts in it and some tools. I need to kind of do something between the red box and this box and kind of consolidate all the bike stuff into one box. Currently it's spread across 2 boxes, but that's okay. And then I put the mini fridge on top of that toolbox. I bet when old Mr. Kennedy decided to design a Kennedy machinist chest, that he wasn't expecting a mini fridge to be sitting on top of it. No. That's what keeps my ice cold water in there and a couple of these blue drinks. And I'll be completely honest with you folks, I have, this is sitting here kind of precariously because I put some clamps on. It's an old wooden toolbox I made to carry tools around in at one time. And I just couldn't part with it. And this little piece here needed to be glued back in, so I put a couple of my clamps on there and glued it in, and that'll go up on the shelf for safekeeping. But one of the projects like this, when it comes to cleaning and organizing, those are the slowest ones. This part, fast, easy. I mean, it took some time, but nothing compared to the amount of time I've spent trying to figure out where to put my stuff. I even, can you see over here somewhere a little bit? Nice thing about having all this metal is I was able to buy me some magnetic hooks so I can hang up my valve cover gaskets for my inboard outboards, my belts for my inboard outboards. I got that hanging up. I was able to just put some hooks, some magnetic hooketry, if that's a word, to see if I could get my, just get things hanging up. And that was, some of that stuff was hanging on the wall behind over here. But anyway, it's better once I get this big pile of rebar out of my way. That's a lot of floor space. My weld bench here obviously can be moved around anywhere I want. My bandsaw lives over there against the lathe, which right now I've got it pulled out because I'm going to be cutting some, for the next project I'm working on as soon as I clean this up, cutting up some tubing, 1.5-inch square tubing, miter cuts and all that kind of fun stuff to build some fabrication stuff, as it were. And so yeah, we're making some headway. I got to still get to my bench over here. This is still a mess. Believe it or not, there's 2 monitors back there and a laptop back there. And I want to get that accessible again and use that for an actual desk again. Everything is a work in progress. But I'm making a mental commitment to myself. I'm hoping I can hold to it. My goal is to be able to. I got to put these back in a drawer over here. To keep this caught up. Because I usually bring, I've stopped just bringing stuff home. I've stopped the collection process. Now when it comes to bicycles, maybe not so much. But I stopped the collection process, and I'm into let's work through projects process. I want to spend the next 1 to 2 years. Sounds crazy. Seems like a long time, but it goes by like that. Working through the stuff that I have accumulated, fixing the stuff that I have. I've got content everywhere around the property. No shortage of content. I don't have to leave my property to create content any longer, which is awesome. I got several boats I need to work through this spring. A couple of them I want to get worked through and sell because there's just too many of them. I don't use them all. I will retain at least 5 to 7 of them, most likely, out of the 14. But it's time to part with some of them. I've had good time with them. I've made videos with them. There again, boats don't hold value, very much value at all. But yeah, I've got so much stuff. But I enjoy my stuff. And there again, this beams here were all bent and or damaged beams. This one still has a hole in it right here. I can stick my finger right in there. Might be a bird nest someday, I don't know. But it wasn't structurally going to hurt me. I don't feel it's going to buckle. But it's these had bends and stuff where forklifts had hit them. So I make them leave the property instead of, we don't have a steel scrap, so to speak, where I work. So I take them off the property and I piled them up till I only have like 3 pieces about this long left out of, I think, 6 beams in total. So I was able to splice this stuff together and make use of it. You know, normally this would just go to the scrapyard, be melted down, blah, 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 blah. Can live on another life. Now, I'll have to put it in the estate sale that these beams are to be cut apart and destroyed. They can't leave the property, go be used somewhere else. Plus, they're an oddball size. There's only 2 of them this size. I did the same thing with my back beam in the shop. It's 15-footer. This is, 17 foot across here. This isn't, for this thick a beam, this isn't the recommended span for this thick a beam for sure. And I definitely don't recommend welding it. But with what I've got up here, this is the heaviest piece here. And everything else is, there probably ain't 500, 600 pounds over this whole top. And everything that I have up there. But it was all over the floor, and now it's not. I'm having fun just walking around. I haven't been able to walk in this area. This part of the floor has not seen foot traffic in a couple of years, minimum. So, that's exciting. I know you guys might think I'm crazy. There's people that haven't followed me before probably think this guy's absolutely nuts. But those that know how I feel about having a space freed up again. And I got a place to park my floor jack. And I actually got an empty space underneath my workbench here that I could stick something that's out here under there. Maybe a boat tank or something. Maybe not this close to the welder. That's a bad idea. Rethink that. But, well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, I'm sorry. Don't be afraid to leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me, people say, oh, I'd like to see you do a video, this or that. I appreciate the recommendations, but I have to be quite honest. I'm not going to do any of them unless it's something that I've already planned to do. Because a lot of people give you lots of awesome advice. A lot of people like to make suggestions. Oh, this would make a great video. You can do this and make a great video. This would be an awesome video. Sure. My heart ain't in it. It's not going to be a great video. If my heart's in it, sure, I'll do a video. But I'm always doing the next project. Yeah, there might be something I'm going to change this on a car. Hey, can you show me how to do this on an Impala? No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to because I don't have to do it on my car yet. That's how it goes. I'm only doing stuff that I'm doing, and I'm building up a collection of videos. Now, when I do work on the Impala, for instance, I've got it all grouped together as Impala. So when you watch one Impala, you might be able to see 3 or 4 of them together that I've done. But like videos, like type stuff, I lump together. If it's a 1976 Starcraft boat, boom, they're all gathered up together. If that's what you're into. All right, folks, I got a lot of work to do yet. I got to meet some relatives for supper here in about 45 minutes. I'm hoping that's enough time for me to clear my workbench off here and clear that off. And then I can focus on bringing a bunch of tubing off my truck in here and start cutting it up. And we'll see you on the next video. Be good to one another out there, guys. All right, this is Michael saying if it ain't broke, fix it till it is. I'll see you on the next video if I'm lucky. And hopefully the next one, this shop, as you guys keep watching me work out here, you'll see it. You start seeing more of the walls and more of the stuff and more of a he can walk around in circles and not trip over his own air hose or extension cord or shop vac. I'm out.